Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something really fundamental. It's about how our physical selves and our mental state are connected.
Definitely. We're zoning in on diet, sleep, stress, and anxiety. We've looked at quite a few expert takes on this.
Yeah, good mixed YouTube videos from experts on nutrition science, some principles from traditional Chinese medicine, sleep science, even supplement advice.
It's a lot out there.
It is. And we know you, our listener, want the useful stuff, the knowledge you can actually use without getting totally overwhelmed.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, right?
Yeah.
To pull out those practical, science-backed nuggets.
Exactly. Things that can help you feel a bit more informed, maybe more empowered when it comes to managing your own well-being.
Okay, where should we start?
Let's kick off with food, something we all deal with every single day, how what we eat actually affects our mood.
It's easy to think mood is all in the head, you know? But physically, diet is it's foundational.
Totally. We saw this great video, Think Later, that highlighted 5 food groups that are particularly good for supporting your mood.
Yeah, that was interesting. First up were the fatty fish.
Right, like salmon, sardines. They're just packed with omega-3 fatty acids.
And the key there is how those omega-3s, especially EPA, seem to link up with serotonin production.
Which is huge for mood regulation.
Yeah.
It's not just heart health, it's brain health too. Reducing inflammation, maybe even helping new brain cells grow.
It's a direct chemical link. Then the next group kind of shifts gears, fermented foods.
Oh, like yogurt, kimchi.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
gets into that whole gut-brain axis thing.
Fascinating area. So these foods are like fuel for the good bacteria in our gut.
Pretty much, yeah. A feast for gut bacteria, as the video put it. And the balance of that bacteria seems to have a really profound effect on our emotional state.
Through the vagus nerve and all that communication.
The vagus nerve is a big pathway. Plus, neurotransmitters actually get produced in the gut. It's quite complex.
Wow. Okay, so gut health is key. What was next?
Dark leafy greens, your spinach, your kale, the usual suspects, maybe.
Yeah. But why specifically for mood?
Well, they're loaded with folate and magnesium. And it turns out people experiencing depression often have lower levels of these specific nutrients.
Okay. So eating more greens helps replenish those. Makes sense.
Simple, but potentially really effective. Then, number 4, berries.
Blueberries, raspberries. Can't
Wow.
complain about those.
Definitely not. And they're packed with antioxidants. The thinking here is that antioxidants can help cool down inflammation in the brain.
And brain inflammation is being linked more and more to low mood, right?
Exactly. So it's like giving your brain a bit of extra defense.
Okay, good one. What's the last one?
Dark chocolate.
Knew it.
But crucially, the dark stuff, like 70% cacao or more.
Why the high percentage?
Well, it boosts endorphins, gives you a natural little dopamine hit without the big sugar load and subsequent crash you get from milk chocolate.
Right, the sustainability factor. Good point.
So those are the 5. But it's really important to stress something the video emphasized.
Yeah.
Food isn't some magic cure for depression. It's not going to fix everything on its own.
No, absolutely. But it's a tool, right? A really valuable aid in that whole healing process.
Precisely. Even just making small, manageable dietary tweaks can be a really positive step.
Okay, that's a great overview of the food-mood link. Let's pivot now to something else huge for well-being. Sleep. And how it ties into stress and anxiety.
Yeah, sleep issues are incredibly common, and our sources definitely highlighted that tangle between poor sleep, stress, and anxiety.
I saw one explanation, I think it was from the Embody Lab, about waking up at 3 a.m. That specific thing.
Oh, yeah, that was fascinating. They linked it directly to cortisol levels.
Okay, explain that connection.
So cortisol, our main stress hormone, naturally starts to rise around 3 or 4 a.m. anyway to kind of prepare us to wake up later.
Right.
But if your baseline cortisol is already high because you're stressed, that normal little nudge is enough to actually jolt you wide awake.
And then it's hard to get back to sleep because you're kind of in that fight or flight mode.
Exactly that. Versus someone who's more in a rest and digest state, their cortisol rises more gently. They wake up more naturally later.
Makes total sense. Did they offer solutions?
Well, the usual good advice was limit caffeine on an empty stomach, balance blood sugar, low impact exercise, a good sleep routine.
Standard stuff.
Yeah, but they really emphasize vagus nerve stimulation exercises, things to actively calm the nervous system down.
Directly tackling the stress response.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there was another angle from Dr. Tracy Marks about sleep anxiety.
Yes, the vicious cycle, where worrying about not sleeping actually prevents you from sleeping.
How does that work? Is it conditioning?
Basically, yeah. classical conditioning. Your brain starts to associate your bedroom, not with rest, but with the stress and frustration of not sleeping.
That sounds rough.
It is. So your brain releases more stress hormones right when you're trying to wind down.
So what did she suggest? Just try harder to sleep.
Actually, the opposite. She talked about paradoxical intention. You kind of gently try to stay awake while doing something super boring, obviously. No screens.
Huh. You try to stay awake?
Yeah, the idea is to break that anxiety loop about having to fall asleep. Takes the pressure off. And often, sleep just kind of happens then.
Interesting psychological trick.
Okay.
And Ryan Taylor's video connected sleep and anxiety symptoms too, right?
He did. He talked about how anxiety often shows up as difficulty switching off those racing thoughts at night.
Yep.
And just general problems with sleep cycles, but also the physical stuff.
Like what?
Muscle tension, heart racing, breathing changes, even nausea or that lump in the throat feeling.
Wow, yeah. Anxiety really is physical too.
Absolutely. He explained it as the body's fight or flight kicking in because it perceives a threat, even if the threat is just a worry or a thought.
And being stuck in that state long term is bad news.
Definitely. He linked chronic activation of that system to higher risks of diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues. Serious stuff.
Okay, so clearly managing stress and anxiety is critical, not just for sleep, but for overall health. What tools or supplements did the experts suggest?
Right. Dr. Daniel Amen had some specific recommendations for anxiety and tension, things to maybe try before jumping to benzodiazepines.
Like what?
Magnesium, specifically magnesium citrate, he mentioned. Also ashwagandha and GABA.
Okay, those are known for calming effects.
Yeah, supporting the nervous system. And then Ryan Taylor went deeper with what he called his top 6 vitamins for anxiety, using vitamins kind of broadly.
Broadly how? Including other things?
Yeah, it included phytonutrients, minerals, herbs, basically natural compounds.
Okay, let's break those down. What was number 1?
Vitamin B1, thiamine. His point was that deficiency might be more common in anxiety than we think.
Why B1 specifically?
Because the parts of the brain dealing with stress response, like the amygdala and hippocampus, apparently use up B1 when we're stressed.
Oh, interesting.
Plus, he said things like sugar, processed foods, caffeine can deplete it further.
Okay, so how do we get more?
His big tip was unfortified nutritional yeast, like 2-3 tablespoons a day. He said since B vitamins are water-soluble, you might feel a calming effect pretty quickly.
Nutritional yeast, yeah. Okay. Other sourcing.
Sunflower seeds, organic pork, pasture-raised eggs, wild fish, good whole foods.
Got it. What was number 2?
Probiotics. Back to the gut.
The gut-brain axis again. It keeps coming up.
It really does. He emphasized that our gut microbes actually make B vitamins, including B1, and neurotransmitters like GABA, dopamine, serotonin.
All the mood regulators.
Exactly. But things like antibiotics, artificial sweeteners, even pesticides on conventional produce can mess up that delicate gut balance.
So his advice was?
Eat more fermented veggies, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, kefir. Plus, prebiotic foods to feed the good guys. Chia seeds, avocados, asparagus, cocoa powder, pecans, or consider a good probiotic supplement.
Okay. Gut health covered. Number 3.
Vitamin D.
The sunshine vitamin. How does that relate to anxiety?
He linked low vitamin D to higher cortisol, which often goes along with anxiety, sleep issues, and that sort of constant rumination.
Right. Sunlight helps make vitamin D.
But most of us don't get enough sun exposure. So he recommended supplementing, suggesting 10,000 IUs of D3 with 100 milligrams of K2 daily.
Okay, those are specific dosages. IU and MCG are just standard units for vitamins.
Yep. Number 4 was a pair, magnesium and potassium.
Ah, electrolytes.
Crucial ones, needed for energy production, making those key neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, calming muscles.
Where do we find those?
Leafy greens, again, avocados are good sources. He also mentioned electrolyte powders with potassium citrate and magnesium citrate as an easy option.
Convenient. Okay, number 5.
Passionflower tea.
Ooh, herbal remedy. What's the deal with passionflower?
It seems to boost GABA activity in the brain. GABA is our main calming neurotransmitter. He even cited studies suggesting it could be as effective as oxazepam, a tranquilizer, but without the side effects.
Wow, that's a strong claim. Recommended for evening.
Yeah, a cup in the evening to help wind down.
Okay, and the last one, number 6.
Ashwagandha.
Heard of that one. It's an adaptogen, right?
Exactly. Adaptogens basically help your body adapt to stress, find balance. Ashwagandha specifically helps by balancing hormones and lowering cortisol.
What kind of dose?
He suggested around 1,200 milligrams of an extract daily. And he briefly mentioned others like rhodiola, panax ginseng, astragalus, holy basil. There are quite a few adaptogens out there.
So quite a list of potential natural aids. Did he mention lifestyle factors too?
Oh, absolutely. Huge emphasis on that. Cutting back or cutting out stimulants like caffeine. Drinking more calming herbal teas, valerian root, lemon balm, passionflower again, lavender, peppermint, rosemary.
Lots of options there.
Getting outside for physical activity, organizing your space to make it feel calmer, using calming essential oils, and of course prioritizing that solid 8 hours of sleep.
It really paints a picture of a whole body, whole lifestyle approach.
It really does. And you know, this holistic view fits perfectly with the philosophy of Your Choice Health, Inc., who are supporting this deep dive.
That's right. They focus on comprehensive well-being strategies.
And if you want to explore these kinds of approaches further, they've provided a ton of great resources. You can find links for those in our show notes, courtesy of Your Choice Health, Inc.
Definitely check those out. Okay, let's bring in another perspective now. Andrew Huberman from Huberman Lab Essentials. He talks a lot about the actual science of stress.
Yeah, his stuff is fascinating. He has a really straightforward definition of stress.
It is.
Simply a mismatch between your internal state and what's going on externally.
Interesting way to put it. And he explained the body's immediate reaction.
Yep. The acute stress response, talked about the sympathetic chain ganglion network of nerves, acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter, and then epinephrine or adrenaline hitting those beta receptors.
Yep.
It's your body's instant alarm system.
Sounds intense. But he offered a tool to manage it, right? Something quick.
Yes. The physiological sigh. Super simple, super powerful.
How does that work again?
It's a double inhale through the nose, like a big sniff, followed by another quick one, and then a long, slow exhale through the mouth.
Double inhale, long exhale. What does that do physiologically?
It helps pop open the little air sacs in your lungs, the alveoli that might have collapsed a bit, and it helps blow off excess CO2. That sends a signal to your brain to calm down fast.
Wow. And he linked breathing directly to heart rate too.
Yeah, via the sinoatrial node in the heart. How fast or slow you breathe directly influences heart rate variability.
Amazing. He also mentioned short-term stress could be good.
Yeah, a little bit. Acutely, the adrenaline rush can actually mobilize immune cells, give your immune system a temporary boost.
Okay. And those intense breathing techniques, like Wim Hof.
Right. Super oxygenation breathing. He described it as a way to deliberately trigger that adrenaline release, potentially for immune benefits.
Yeah.
But he added some serious cautions.
Like what?
Definitely don't do it near water and check with a doctor first, especially if you have health conditions. It's potent stuff.
Good warnings. So when does stress become a problem?
He defined the turning point from acute to chronic stress as when you can no longer get consistent, good quality sleep. That's the threshold.
That makes sense. Sleep is the barometer.
Pretty much. And he talked about medium-term stress and this idea of raising your stress threshold.
How do you do that? More stress.
Kind of, but controlled stress. Deliberately exposing yourself to things that trigger adrenaline, like cold showers, really intense exercise, that cyclic hyperventilation breathing, but pairing it with mental calming techniques.
Oh, okay. So you activate the body but calm the mind simultaneously.
Exactly. And he added a cool technique, deliberately widening your gaze, going into panoramic vision. Apparently that helps calm the nervous system even when you're physically amped up.
Widening your vision. That's a practical tip. And long-term stress.
It's bad. Yeah, he emphasized the really negative impacts of chronic long-term stress. No upsides there.
But he offered ways to buffer against it.
Absolutely. Huge emphasis on social connection.
Relationships.
Romantic partners, family, friends, even pets, and just finding delight in things. These connections release neuromodulators like serotonin, which act as a powerful buffer against long-term stress.
So connection is key. Did he mention supplements for long-term stress?
Briefly. He was cautious about melatonin supplementation, generally doesn't recommend it, but mentioned L-theanine for relaxation and sleep support, and ashwagandha again for anxiety and cortisol reduction, echoing some of the earlier points.
Okay, so lots of tools there, from breathing techniques to supplements to social connection.
Definitely. And again, it all points back to that interconnectedness of mind, body, and even our social environment.
Which, as you said, aligns really well with the holistic view taken by Your Choice Health, Inc. You can find more on all this in the show notes they've provided.
Absolutely.
And before we move on to the final part of this episode.
Okay. I think it's really understanding that these things, diet, sleep, stress, anxiety, they aren't separate boxes. They all influence each other constantly.
Right. And managing well-being means looking at that whole picture, using these practical, science-backed strategies we've talked about.
And remembering that small changes add up. Like you said with food, you don't have to overhaul everything overnight. Consistency matters.
Absolutely. So for you listening, maybe think about just one thing, one actionable step from today that feels doable.
Could be trying that physiological sigh, adding some leafy greens, maybe looking into passionflower tea, whatever resonates.
Yeah. And maybe take a moment, too, to just reflect on your own stress patterns. What are your triggers? Which tools might fit your life best?
It's an ongoing journey,
Right.
right? Self-discovery, figuring out what works for you.
Definitely. And for more support, more details on everything we covered, please do check out the show notes from our partners at Your Choice Health.
You're not lazy. You're just one meltdown away from turning into a full-grown baby. You don't need another planner or productivity hack. You need juice in a sippy cup, someone to burp you, and a nap that lasts 12 hours. It's not just a mood, it's a movement. We cry, we snack, we need to be held. But seriously, if your nervous system has had enough, it's time to enter your soft girl era, the healing kind. Introducing the Calm Code, a 3-day reset for women who've been in survival mode too long. Real food that restores your energy, daily rituals that calm your nervous system, prompts that help you feel like you again. No stress, no pressure, just healing and peace. Come rest, reset, and rise. Join the 3-day reset now. Now let's get back to the deep dive.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, excited to be here.
You know how Your Choice Health Inc. is always recommending like different apps and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of them
Okay, cool.
that are specifically meditation apps.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So hopefully, you can follow along with us, maybe even download these apps
Yeah,
and try them out while we're talking about them.
totally.
And then let us know down in the comments
What you think?
what you think. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so
Which apps are we looking at?
we're going to be looking at Headspace
Okay.
and Calm.
Oh, yeah, those are both really popular.
Yeah, they're super popular.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's talking about these things.
I've heard good things about both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, they both
what?
do the same thing, essentially,
Okay.
which is like guided meditations for
Right.
mental wellness, helping people kind of chill out. But they go about it in very different ways.
Right. So that's what we're going to be comparing and contrast.
That's what we're going to be looking at today. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So first off, let's talk about the meditation library.
Okay.
Both of them have just tons and tons.
Huge libraries, right?
Huge libraries of different guided meditations.
Is anything you can think of, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, like stress, anxiety,
Sleep.
yeah. But one of the things that Calm has that's kind of cool is they have celebrity-narrated sleep stories.
Oh, wow.
So you can like fall asleep to the soothing sounds of like Matthew McConaughey or somebody.
I could see how that would be appealing to some people.
Right.
Yeah.
Headspace goes about it in a little bit of a different way with these things called sleep casts.
Okay, I haven't heard of those.
Yeah, it's basically like these soundscapes,
Okay.
like nature sounds and stuff that are supposed to
Okay, so kind of white noise.
kind of, yeah, it's like soothing, like rain or a crackling fire.
Yeah, that makes
Something like that.
Okay, so do you think one's better than the other?
I don't know. I think it depends on the person, right?
Yeah, true. Some people might really like,
Like a story.
yeah,
Some people might just want to zone out.
to the sound of rain or whatever.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Yeah.
So, as far as personalization goes,
Yeah.
Headspace really kind of focuses on that.
Okay.
They ask you like, about your goals and your meditation experience level, and then they actually like put together a plan for you.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very personalized.
Very personalized, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Calm is more about just kind of giving you the tools and then letting you do your own thing.
Okay, I see. So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure
Yeah.
versus like a guided tour or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So like if you wanted to like deep dive into a specific topic,
Mm-hmm.
both of them actually have mindfulness courses.
Oh, really?
So like mini classes.
Interesting.
Headspace is the one that's known for this.
Yeah.
They have tons of them on stress and anxiety and all that stuff. Calm also has some, but they're shorter.
Okay, so they're more condensed.
Yeah, more condensed.
Interesting.
It's like Headspace is kind of like going to like a university or something.
Yeah.
And Calm's like taking a workshop.
Yeah. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So as far as like what actual users are saying,
Yeah, what's the word on the street?
people who use Headspace seem to really like the structure of it
Okay.
and how it's just very focused on mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Calm, I think a lot of people are drawn to it because of just the variety of content.
Okay.
And also like all the sleep stuff seems to be really popular.
Yeah, I can see why those
Yeah.
celebrity sleep stories
Yeah, exactly.
would probably be a big draw.
Totally.
Yeah.
So as far as the money question goes,
Yes, the all-important question.
the all-important question.
How much does this stuff cost?
Both of them do free trials,
Okay, well, that's good.
which is great.
Yeah.
And then it's a subscription model
For both of them.
for both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Calm is actually slightly cheaper.
Oh, okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, basically, I think it just really comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Like, what are you looking to get out of it?
What are your goals?
What are your goals exactly?
Yeah.
Are you a beginner? Are you more experienced?
Do you like structure or do you like more flexibility?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I guess like the big takeaway here
Yeah.
is, in this day and age where
Mhm.
everybody's just constantly bombarded with information and notifications and everything else,
Mhm.
can an app actually help us achieve inner peace?
That's the big question, right?
That's right.
Is it just another distraction or is it actually a tool that we can use to
Yeah,
improve our lives?
that's the question.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think down in the comments.
Yeah, we love to hear your thoughts on that.
And, of course, we've got links to both of these apps
In the show notes.
down in the show notes. You can check them out.
Yeah. Definitely take advantage of those free trials
Yeah, take advantage of the free trials.
and see which one is a better fit for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And let us know what you think.
Yeah. Happy meditating, everybody.
All right, take care.
Bye.